Hello and welcome to Helldivers. Today we're going to be going over a way to farm super credits pretty quickly. This way of farming can be done by anybody at any level. The results of this can vary quite heavily based on whether you're doing this solo or in a team, and also just what your luck is on the spawn of super credits. Since super credits tend to spawn in groups of 10, however you can get 20, 50, and 100. So if you are lucky and you just manage to get a bunch of the 100 credits, you can max this out actually really quick, or at least get to the 1,000 that you need to get the next war bond. In order to do this, playing solo is what I usually do, and it tends to be the quickest for me, although playing in a team would be the fastest if you're on comms so that everybody can talk to one another. If you're playing in a group, you do have access to bunkers. If you're playing solo, sadly, you don't have any access to those bunkers, so you will be missing out on one spot that can potentially spawn super credits. Play on difficulty 3 or higher. 3 is when you start getting the larger maps and the maps that take 40 minutes or so. Always look for a map for 40 minutes as well. We'll talk about that here in a second as to why you want to do that. And if you want to be farming samples, whether that be common, rare, or super, pick a difficulty according to those. 1 through 3 is just commons, 4 through 6 is rares, and then 7 to 10, at least currently, is for supers. So pick any of those. You probably want to go with the lowest besides level 3. 3 kind of makes the most sense, but either difficulty 3, 4, or 7 is more likely what you're going to be doing if you're trying to farm those. Next step, be sure to pick a planet that does not have any sort of slow effect or effects that are going to mess up your vision. This doesn't matter whether it's a bot planet or a bug planet, either one works just fine, but you don't want any planets that are going to slow you thanks to things like sandstorms or snowstorms or earthquakes. All of those can slow you down, so it's just going to make this process slower than it would otherwise be. You also don't want to pick a planet with a lot of dense foliage in it where it's really difficult to actually see certain areas around. So try to pick a planet that has big open areas and the least amount of disruption that you can. For a loadout, pick whatever primary, secondary, and grenade that you want. This is going to be easiest with explosive weapons though, because you can open crates with those. So if you want to do that, you absolutely can. The eruptor and the crossbow for primary weapons can do this. The grenade pistol for a secondary can do this. Any of the explosive grenades work here, so anything that actually explodes and deals damage will work just fine. Things like flashbangs and smokes won't, so just don't pick them. If you don't have those though, don't worry, you can bring a special weapon as a stratagem. For the armor, you're going to want to either pick light armor or medic armor. Light armor will get you the least amount of stamina reduction as you're running, so you just don't have to wait for stamina as long. Medic gives you more syringes so that you can use those in order to get further, because as of right now you can use stims whenever you'd like. You don't need to be injured, and this will refill your stamina, as well as it lingers a little bit longer thanks to the medic armor, and with medic armor you get more syringes. So this is just simply for running further. For stratagems that you want to take, you can really take whatever you'd like. Jetpack I would highly recommend. This will just allow you to see the area a little bit easier, so if you miss things, it's going to be easier for you to find them, and potentially a weapon stratagem that will allow you to blow open containers. You can take the anti-material rifle for this. It blows it up, and it's like a level 2 weapon, so it's really easy to get. It's also just really convenient for running and gunning, and it lets you use the jet backpack. The autocannon could work here too, but you're not going to be able to take the jet backpack and the autocannon backpack. You may not need anything besides the jet backpack if you're only going to be using this for opening containers though, because you're likely not going to be running into more than 10 of them in a single match. Or you could take things like EATs, which would also work for this. Whatever explosive you want to open up the crates, just take that. Once you've picked your planet and a loadout, then be sure to go to the edge of the map. I find this the easiest to actually cover the most ground. If you're playing in a team, decide who's going where and split up from there. Cover as much ground as you possibly can and just try to rush places of interest. Don't bother with the primary objective unless you're trying to rush samples or metals. I don't think this is a great way to do that, but you can do it if you would like, and you'll be getting medals from this anyway, because the crates and all the areas that have super credits can also give you medals as well as requisition slips, so you should be able to max things out fairly quickly with this. You probably want to stay in loose teams of 2 that can cover more area. That way if you are getting to an actual bunker, then somebody can actually open it and you can get in there and grab all the stuff. If you're playing this solo, you don't have to worry about it. Run as far as you can, and once your stamina bar gets low, be sure to take those stims so that way you can run further. It's best just to ignore pretty much all enemies in this run too, unless you end up getting stalkers or something like that that will try to chase you down and kill you, then potentially take care of them. But aside from that, you should just be going for areas of interest, or if there is a signal tower, you should prioritize that first. Main reason why is because the signal tower will mark all points of interest on your map. This will make it really easy to actually go to each one of them, that way you're not wasting extra time. I would say that you shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. I usually go for 5 or 10 minutes with this method, and just looking for stuff around the planet. If I can find it within that 10 minutes, then I grab it. Once you have all that, then I'd recommend just pausing the game, going down, and leaving the mission. This sends you right back to the ship, and then you can pick another mission and repeat this process. On average, whenever I've done this, I've found that I've usually gotten between 20 and 40 super credits per run for this. So getting up to that 1,000 actually isn't that bad. It's even easier if you are getting those medals that you're collecting from these boxes as well, and you can pay for some other super credits in your war bonds that you may not have already done that. If you have already done that, then this grinding process is going to take a little bit longer than it otherwise would, but this is pretty much the fastest way that I've found to grind for super credits. I also haven't really found that difficulty scaling up really matters, which is why I usually do this on difficulty 3, just because it's faster to run through, you have less enemies to deal with, and so long as you're picking a mission with 40-minute timers, you should be fine. Sometimes you get unlucky and only have like 3 or 4 points of interest on those maps. Other times you get up to like 12. So this is really going to vary on planet to planet, on mission to mission. Don't go for missions that are short, so don't take things like Eradicate the Swarms, because you're just not going to be getting anything from those. Unless you're rushing samples or medals, then they're actually pretty decent. Same thing goes with Blitz missions. They are very easy to actually run through, especially with a team. So hopefully this video helped you out, gets you a little bit more super credits. This is usually what I do when I'm lacking in super credits. Usually I have like 600-700 saved up, and then a new war bond drops, and I haven't played the game in like a week. So I'll rush these for a couple hours and usually get my 300 to 400 credits without too much trouble. If you have any more tips regarding this, feel free to put them down in the comments below. Thank you guys so very much for watching this. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.